As I write about in chapter 1 of my book, years ago, in one of the lowest points of my life, I was knee-deep in an eating disorder, completely disconnected from myself, overwhelmed. I was in my mind, in my head, in anxiety and obsession, and just a really bad place. And at this moment, I was on the floor, not figuratively or metaphorically. I was physically on the floor, and I had reached this pinnacle of exhaustion and of breakdown. And in that moment, I uttered out of my body, "Help me." And I didn't know who I was asking for help from or, what was going to come of that. But what I heard next inside my mind was something that changed my life forever. And I was on the floor and I sobbed out, "Help me." And I heard clear as day, "Learn to love yourself and the rest will fall into place." And my first thought was, holy crap. It was like this breakthrough idea. Keep in mind, I was knee deep in an eating disorder. I was also in addiction, negative thoughts that just ran the show. So that thought of what would my life even look like if I loved myself, that itself gave me goosebumps and was like this preview into what was to come. But at the moment, it was just like, holy crap, how would I eat? What would that look like? And then my second thought after what would my life look like if I loved myself? My second thought was, what the heck was that voice? And that was the beginning of really clearly hearing my channel and turning it on in a new way, I would say. But what we're talking about today in this episode is the learning to love yourself piece. And that was over 15 years ago. It's so wild. And that message has not left me. It was what helped me cure my eating disorder. It helped me move to the other side of it. It is what helped me literally in all of my healing. And I go into, complicated roots in my healing, and I'm doing all this work, and it keeps coming back to love. It keeps coming back to the message that has deepened this entire time. It's shaped my healing. It's shaped my choices. It's shaped my business. It now is coming into play into my body and into my nervous system and into my relationships and into my dynamics and how I be. So today we're diving into what it actually means to love yourself from my perspective and from this lens, learning to love yourself and seeing the magic that unfolds as that result. So we're going to talk about it not just as a fluffy concept, but as a way of living, as a way that I now live and help my clients to live, how it shifts your actions, how it shifts your emotions, how it actually helps you go after your goals. It helps you rest, it helps you restore, but it does also help you focus on what is most important to you and making changes. It is the powerful force in your life that will drive you forward, will carry you through healing. It's everything. So welcome back to the Awakening Her podcast. My name is Talia Joy, and if you are new here, hello, hi. I'm an author, podcast host, retreat guide, and really your go-to bestie in the area of personal growth and transformation. So I'm really excited for this episode. And if you have not yet grabbed my book, The Delicate Art of Transformation, the link is below. It is a guide in your self-growth and transformation journey. It will help you to bridge the gap between where you are now and your next level. You're going to love the book. It's been so impactful for my clients, and I cannot wait to hear the personal transformation you go through while you read it. Other than that, there are some exciting things coming up that you're going to stay tuned for, and I'm so excited. I will start sharing soon, I promise. So there's nothing else I have. Let's just dive into this episode. I'm really excited for it. Okay, take a deep breath. Drop your shoulders. Maybe take a sip of water, and let's dive in. I still remember that moment so clearly that I was talking about in the intro, because when you're at rock bottom, when you're fighting yourself, when you're judging yourself, when you're trying to control everything, The idea of loving yourself doesn't even feel real. I remember, and I've shared with you guys back in the day, like I would laugh about what it would mean to be led by love. And at the time, as I mentioned, the eating disorder, control, all the stuff, like what should I do? What should I do? Pushing, forcing, all that stuff. So to love myself, it was like, it was so passive. It was almost laughable. Like, what? I'm just going to float around on love and just be like, oh, I love myself. And I would either oscillate between thinking that was completely flaky or thinking it meant I had to be perfect. Like if I loved myself, then I would never eat sugar, or I would never eat chocolate, or I would always follow through, or I would always go to the gym. And sometimes there's this middle ground, as we're going to talk about in the show. Love isn't just 3 days a week, you're going to do this. Love is being empathetic. Love is allowing yourself to flow with what you really need. Love is sometimes allowing yourself to go into one thing and then pull back and go into another thing, or have chocolate one day and then find yourself tightening up your diet and then find yourself loosening up your diet. That can be love as well, as we're going to talk about. But what I've come to realize is that message planted a seed. And at the time, it was about food, it was about eating disorder, it was about my body. And that's what it took to kind of hook me in. But over time, it moved from just a nice thought into that was my direction. That was my guidepost. It started with food. It ended up softening everything because I did start to realize that if I was to exercise in love, I might exercise, the energy of almost every day, but it maybe wouldn't have been when my body's, exhausted and I haven't eaten in a day and I'm pushing myself for the second time today and my back's screaming. So that love, when it was to do with the eating disorder, to do with my relationship with food and my body, I did start to realize there was that nuance. Yeah, in love, like in maximum love, I might go for a walk every single day or still be running, 10K when I'm out there. But again, maybe it wouldn't be on an empty stomach, on nothing but coffee for 2 days, or the run would be in the voice of shame and being hard on myself. So as I'm running, I'm hearing like, you have to keep going, just really mean things. I'm not even going to repeat them, but shaming myself, calling myself names, shaming my body. That's why you have to keep running. Whereas if it was in love, maybe you'd get out there every day, but it would be in love. So what does that look like? And this was literally my recovery journey, exploring that and being willing to lean into it so hard that I knew what I was doing was going to lead me nowhere but into the ground. Whereas this way, it seemed kind of flaky, it seemed kind of ruleless, but I did have a hunch that it would lead me to a better place. So even though now I don't struggle with food in the same context or with my body in the same context, I talk to you guys about this all the time. Even though it hasn't been about food or an eating disorder in a long time, this lesson of learning to love yourself and the rest will fall into place keeps coming into my life no matter what area I look at. And now I'm asking myself in my life, am I meeting myself with love or not? Am I making this decision out of love? Or what would the decision be out of love? And love can cause you to create boundaries. Love can cause you, as I said, to eat more veggies or go out on walks. Love can also give you a rest day where you throw the plan out and you say, right now, my soul just needs rest, or it needs ice cream, or it needs Netflix for a day, or it needs, to cry it out, dance it out. Love will lead you in the wildest places because it asks you to be authentic with yourself. And I think this is where we get it twisted. Loving yourself, from my perception, see if it resonates with you. Loving yourself isn't just affirmations in the mirror. And I've been saying this for a long time, right? Self-care isn't just bubble baths. It's not just a Sunday bath. It absolutely can be. It's not just that though. Loving yourself now, and as I've gone through the layers, it shows up in how you speak to yourself when you mess up. That's a huge part. Is like I now can go after my goals and dreams. And if something doesn't work, I'm not going to turn on myself. I might have flickers of thought. I might have the tendency or the temptation to go into an old pattern. But truly, because I've been practicing this for so long, I now feel like no matter what happens, I'm not going to turn on myself. I'm not going to shame myself. Even if I mess up, even if I do something I'm not proud of, I can give myself empathy. I can see the part of me that did that or reacted that way or feels disappointed, and I can offer them what? Love, right? So loving myself is like how I speak to myself when I mess up, how I treat myself when I'm tired, the choices I make when nobody's watching. And the crazy part is, if you guys have been listening in real time, I've shared a little bit about my body changes and whatever. Last year in my rock bottom, in all the stuff with my body, I got to this place where I was like, I am just going to radically, unconditionally love my body. Whether it's in pain, I've had 3 babies, so whatever size it is. And I took on the assignment of I would rather spend a whole lifetime learning to love my body for what it is as I age, as a woman, after children, as it changes, blah, 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 right? Love my body for what it is, then spend my whole life resisting it, trying to fix it, or hating it in some way. So I also deal with chronic pain. So that was what this last chapter's been. It was more food and weight and body image when I was a bit younger and up until this rock bottom, and I went into recovery. And then it was pain and still not feeling great in my skin, still feeling puffy and bloated. And even though I loved myself, I still didn't feel great in my body. I was overwhelmed. I was inflamed. I was in pain. I was hating the fact that I was in pain. And that was another form of torture, being in my body. So I really realized that how I was being with my body when it was in pain, or when I felt puffy, or after my 3rd kid, it's like that was more important. Can I meet myself in love then? And I truly feel like toward the absolute turning point of 2025, I actually said, fine, I'm just going to love myself and my body. And it was this internal grit of letting go of secretly always wanting to be this weight or be this size or, be in some other frame and shaming myself. I don't even know what it was. It's like I let go of it all. Anything that is not the eternal me, I'm just done with the expectation and the crunchiness and what I should be and what they think I should be and what success would be. No, let go of it all and radically love myself right now as I am. And I don't think I was like, yep, I'm just doing that now. It was more, that was the direction I was headed. It's almost like, fuck it, the direction now is just unapologetically, unconditionally loving myself. So when I can see my stretch marks, when I can see the, all the jiggly bits, when I can, my skin, my pain, the hip that's screaming at me, whatever it is, radically sending love to myself. And it feels like that flipped a switch. And my body started releasing pain, releasing weight, bringing digestion into check. It felt like almost like a magic. I know that doesn't actually exist and it's annoying to say that, but it just flipped something so radically that I realized the thing that I've been trying to change my whole life, my body, was waiting for me to love it. And once I really faced that, and believe me, I grappled with it and I resisted it, but when I really faced that, it's like it did what I kind of wanted it to do before. The pain evened out, releasing 40 pounds, like what the heck? I feel like things evened out. My hair stopped falling out. My digestion, my stomach was always off. I was always saying, my stomach hurts. I don't feel good. It's like it all sorted itself out. But it was this radical turn to love. So I do feel like people think loving yourself is just the affirmation in the mirror, and that can definitely lead you there. But who you are with yourself when no one's watching, how you treat yourself when you feel disappointed or you're not doing something, or every stretch mark, every jiggly bit, every month with low income in your business, or if nobody buys your thing or you get, turned down, you ask someone out and they say no. All these things, who you be with yourself in these moments, that is where the love part really shines through. And that's the place to practice. It's choosing to go for a walk that feels good instead of forcing a workout that feels bad. Or maybe it's setting a boundary, even if you risk making someone else uncomfortable, but it is your truth. Love would be to set this boundary. Love would ask you to be honest with yourself instead of bypassing how you feel. Love can help you to practice to ask for what you need. Love can ask you to be empathetic toward yourself when you feel tired, when you feel weak, when you feel sad, and knowing that love will meet you there. Can we give love to ourselves when we feel sad? Can we give love to ourselves when we're not feeling well, when we're not smashing our goals? And something I was practicing, I've never really, I don't think, articulated this way, but I actually practice not giving myself more love when I quote unquote achieve something than when I don't. Or say I have a big list of things to do. If I get all those things done in a day and I go, yeah, high five, Talia, but there are days I don't get all that done. And I actually practice going, all right, high five, Talia, because I don't even want my love to be conditional to if I do more stuff, if I achieve, if I have a high income day, I actually give myself more love. And if I don't, I can easily give myself less love. So it's so nuanced. And this is the work I've been doing for the last 15 years and what has truly made the difference in my own transformation, especially recently. Most people aren't lacking discipline. I really do believe that loving yourself is subtle, it's daily, it's embodied, and that's what we are often lacking. We're lacking self-love in the moment of the decision. Self-empathy in the time when we don't do something shiny and big and gold starred, right? And this is the piece for us on an emotional healing journey. Those of us who have had trauma, which, probably arguably could be every single human, we weren't taught it, we weren't modeled it, we weren't often shown it. So if you are having a quote unquote lack of self-love, that is not your fault. And now is the time that we start reversing that you start taking wherever you are with learn to love yourself and the rest will fall into place, wherever you are in that journey, and taking it even deeper. Because when you genuinely love yourself, your actions start to change. And this is where it gets really powerful. When you start making choices through the lens of love, it does truly shift things. It shifts the decision making. It shifts our reactions. And it makes our actions, the actions we take in a day, whether it's going for a meditation or a walk or, posting something in our business or showing up at work, whatever it is, our actions aren't driven by fear anymore. They're not driven by shame anymore or proving or not enoughness. They're driven by care. And this changes your emotional experience of life, the relationship you have with yourself, the relationship you have with your body and with your internal narrative. Because if you always feel like you're behind or failing or needing to fix yourself, if we're going through life like that, it's hard to also feel good. So instead of feeling like we're behind or failing or we just need to be further ahead by now or whatever else, start to support yourself. Start to be the person who has your own back, almost like the coach you hire to purely just root you on. So if you hired a coach just for I want you to root me on, I want you to be there for me, and that was their job. If you put out a thing and nobody bought it, or if you had a bad day at work or a pitch didn't go well or whatever is going on, that coach would be like, it's okay. What can we take from that? Next time you're going to do this, don't worry. Everyone has hiccups. You're still on the road to success. I believe in you. It would be that general uplift, right? So we really need to learn to do this with ourselves because love drives our actions, or I should say love or lack of love. When I didn't love myself, I worked out hard. I was hurting my body. I was not eating. I was taking diet pills. I was forcing. My inner narrative was so mean and cruel all the time. That drove my actions. That made me feel more reclusive. That made me be secretive. It made me, go toward compulsions and addictions and numbing myself. It drove my actions, but now love drives my actions. So it's almost like we're taking action anyway. But when love gets to drive the action, we will be quote unquote motivated, determined, going after ourselves, like after our goals. But this time it's in love. And this heals something really deep when we become the person who has our own back, especially if you've ever felt or had the wounds of abandonment, betrayal, rejection, if you tend to feel alone or like you have to do, everything on your own or everything perfectly or, any of these wounds, which a lot of us do have. When we have these, and we start to have our own back, we start to create safety within ourselves. And this is when our body starts to feel safe. Because literally, if you hired someone to follow you around and talk shit about you at every turn, like you did what, you did that, you ate that, the way that your inner critic could do, think of how quick that would make you feel unsafe, not good enough, feel like crap about yourself, feel irritated, feel on edge, feel shame, right? Or we hire the person that follows us around going like, woo, and then even like, oh, I ate this thing and my tummy doesn't feel well. It's okay. That's good information. You're learning. Note to self, drink some water, moving on. You're still a valid, worthy person. Think of those two different experiences and how quickly it would affect you. This is how quickly we can make these changes in our life and how quickly it affects us. Because when our nervous system is regulated, when we become a safe person for ourselves, we start to make clearer decisions. We start to trust ourselves more. We start to be more even and regulated when shit does not go our way, when when stuff happens and someone betrays you or something dramatic happens or you get scary news or you have fear, we can actually move through that better. We can stop self-sabotaging the things that we want so badly. And this is where it's not just mindset work. This is somatic. This is in the body. This is the nervous system, because your body is the reflection of how you treat yourself. And I just want to say that with a bunch of pillows and blankets and gentleness. And I'm not saying your body shape or ridicule in any way. But when I was in pain, I would notice before all this big change and deepening that I would just keep pushing through. I would just be mad at my body. I would be hunched over doing the dishes instead of starting to ask, what is maybe aching me? Does my body need to lay down? Do I need a bath? Is it emotions I need to dance through? That's what I mean about your body shows us how we're treating ourselves inside and out. And this is to bring love. I really, truly mean that with absolutely no shame or judgment. Me too. Absolutely. This is a journey and can be a tough one and a tender one. But if we are constantly pushing, criticizing, or ignoring our needs, our body registers this as stress. If you're underslept, if you're underhydrated, if you're undernutriented, if you haven't taken a full breath in a while, we register this and our body registers it as stress, as unsafe. So from that place, to make a new decision, to start a workout program, to start a business, to do anything on shaky foundation, it's hard to make it successful. It's not your fault. It's built on shaky foundation. And again, me too, this is the journey I've been walking through. But when you start to choose differently, when you start to view yourself from the lens of love and make choices from there and become a safe space for yourself, when you slow down, when you listen, when you respond to yourself with care, your body starts to soften. Your breath starts to deepen. No wonder my pain, eased off, less dramatic highs and lows. And when our body softens and our breath deepens and our shoulders drop and our system actually starts to exhale, I believe that was literally the bulk of the weight I've released was literally just my system exhaling, holding on to or releasing what it was holding on to. And this is where it truly shifts. Whether you're looking at it for your body, your bank account, manifestation in general, your goals, when you're no longer trying to create from dysregulation or a survival state, from stress, from anxiety, from the head, and we start to bring it into the body and bring it into the heart and bring it into safety. When we create from safety, when we create from alignment, it's a completely different energy. This is where stuff feels good. And when things don't go our way, it's okay. We can keep going. We can regulate, lick our wounds, learn what we need to learn, and keep going. And that's the key, is we actually start moving forward faster by slowing down, by dropping into the body, by learning to love ourselves. Learn to love yourself, and the rest will fall into place. So I want to invite you into something simple. I want you to think about an area of your life where you've been hard on yourself. Maybe it is your body. Maybe it's your habits. Maybe it's your work, the outcome of, a project you did, your bank account, your relationships, and just notice, how have you been speaking to yourself there? Take a breath and ask yourself, what would it look like to be love in this situation, to meet yourself with love here, to speak love to yourself? Not perfection, not glossy, just pure, uncut love, empathy, support. And asking, in your life, if you loved yourself fully, are there little or maybe big things that you would be doing differently, even just around getting more rest, or taking an aligned action, or drinking water, or going for walks, or the way that you speak to yourself? Maybe it's forgiving yourself. Let it be simple, let it be real, let it be from within. So in this area where you're usually hard on yourself, what would it look like to meet yourself in love? And are there any gentle, small actions that would come from that in that area or in any area of life? Because it starts now. It starts with giving yourself love now. So why don't you put your hand on your heart or maybe on your belly right now and give yourself some loving words. Take a deep breath. No matter what I've done or haven't done, I'm sending love to myself. Beautiful. And over time, these moments compound. They truly add up. You start to build a relationship with yourself that starts to feel safe. Because now, whether I choose the salad or the burger or the noodle dish, or it doesn't matter, I'm going to love myself no matter what. I'm going to make a choice from love and love that whole thing. Because sometimes love is a salad and crunchy veggies. And sometimes love is like, man, I've had my mind on this burger. My soul wants it. I really just enjoy it. Let's do it. So learn to love yourself. Learn to build a relationship with yourself that feels safe and supportive. And from that place, the rest really does start to fall into place. Not because life becomes perfect, but as I'm saying, it's because you're no longer turning on yourself. You're no longer fighting yourself. You can access your intuition better. You can choose to respond over react. And that's exactly what has absolutely changed my life. Meeting myself with love. When I'm doing great, when I'm in pain, when I'm hormonally all over the place, if it's a rainy day, if it's a sunny day, if I made a huge income month, if I got no new clients, it doesn't matter. I am going to give myself love no matter what. Lose 5 pounds, gain 5 pounds, I'm giving myself love no matter what. That became the commitment. And that is what changed everything. So if you feel called to go deeper into this work, seriously, stay close. This is the work I'm pouring into behind the scenes, and I'm creating something really, really special. I'm so excited to share it with you. And if you do feel called to go into this work on a one-on-one basis, reach out to me. The stuff is all below. I am taking one-on-one clients. And just remember that it starts here. It starts with choosing to love yourself now, meeting yourself with love today, and just generally having love for yourself. We don't have to say like, I love my body, if that feels like a stretch. I send love to my body. Or saying, I love my bank account. If that's not what you feel, I send love to my bank account. I send love to the part of me that wants to make more money. I send love to the general situation I'm in because I'm deserving of love. So what can you do today? Is it going for a walk? Taking a deep breath, giving yourself a big hug, and waiting till you give a big sigh. Whatever it is, go do it right now because it starts right now. Your life changes right now. So thank you so much for being here today. This felt really powerful and just really potent. So until next time, treat yourself in love, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.